welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maciel Diaz, and as you could tell in the title of this video, it is all about getting laid off in the oil and gas industry and my top 5 tips for you to get started today in your next journey. So as somebody who personally got laid off in 2016 during the big Canadian / worldwide oil and gas downturn in 16, I unfortunately got laid off, and it's literally the best thing that ever happened to me. And so I know it's crazy to hear that, and I know if this is your first round of layoffs or even your second, it always sucks. So I completely understand. I know how it feels. It's terrible. And so I sympathize with you, but I also want you to know that there is so much more waiting for you on the other side. And so don't dwell too much on it. Prepare, act, plan, get started, and you're going to get your next role or whatever it is you decide to do next. Maybe some people go into entrepreneurship. Maybe some people decide that working wasn't even a thing for them. They stay home. Whatever that looks like, I wish you the best in your journey. And I'm excited for you because I find this is a reset button. And so the top 5 things that I think you should do and that I would personally do today if I was getting laid off are, number 1, take a moment to pause. And I know this could sound like, what? That's number 1. But seriously, just take a moment to relax, detox, plan your life, reanalyze your life, and reset. Like I said, I feel like a layoff or any of these big monumental portions of your career or life are always a moment where life wants you to just reset and restart and wants to redirect you, okay? Just like failure redirects you, just like when somebody tells you, no, we're not going to invest in you, or no, we're not going to give you this opportunity. It's a reset. It's a redirection, okay? Don't look at it in any other way other than a redirection to an amazing life ahead for you. And so first things first is it's okay to feel the way you feel. It's okay to be angry, to cry, to let your emotions out, whatever it is, take a day to do that. Then the next day, you need to get to work in terms of getting to work on yourself. So I would personally take the day to brainstorm what my future looks like, what makes me happy, what were the things that I enjoyed about my current job or old job, and what are things that I didn't like about it. Depending on your financial situation, if you need to find a job right away, or you can take a little bit more time, be more selective, that's kind of nice because then you're only going to apply to the things that you want to apply to. You're going to be very selective with the companies that you want to work for, and you really want to make sure that it fits your life and your purpose. And so depending on what that looks like, it's going to be different for everybody. I would still, even if you need to find a job quickly, take that 1 day or 2 days or that weekend to really just plan out your life and also reset your mind in terms of like, was I even chasing the right thing? Was I in the right company? Was I doing the right role? Was I with people that I enjoyed being with? And if not, this is the perfect opportunity because you don't have to go to work the next day to really write things down, read some blogs, read some books, watch some YouTube videos, like do some studying, do some self-reflection, and figure out what that next step is for you. And so I would take a moment to write down my skill sets, review my resume, and see like, okay, what does my experience look like? Where would I add value to in a company? What are some things that I've wanted to do? Did I want to study? Did I want to go get an MBA? Did you want to go get some new skill sets? Or if you're ready to get to work, it's more of, where do you want to work? What are those companies that you want to go seek? What are the, different industries that you're interested in, et cetera. And so there's going to be a little bit of homework and search, job search later. That's fine. But this number 1 step is just time to clear your mind, block out the negativity and all the stress that's coming from the layoff, and focus on a clear, actionable goal timeline on how you want your future to look like. And so again, take this moment to reset and redirect. Number 2 is call your network. Get to work on your network. That's why you have a network. So hopefully you have a network. Hopefully you've been listening to me for the last few years where I'm always breathing down everybody's throat saying, your network is your net worth. I don't think people realize the importance of a good network. I used to think you would get a job because you were the smartest in the class, because you had good grades, because you went to the best school, because blah, blah, blah. It turns out that life is unfair and you're going to get a job based on who likes you and who you know. So if you know some powerful people, if you know some people in high up positions, that's how you get a job. Life's unfair, but that's one of the harshest truths that I've learned in my career. And so now is the time that you tap into your network. Hopefully you've done 3 things. 1, you have a good network inside the company that you just got laid off from, and I'll explain why. Number 2, you have a good network within the industry or the niche of, companies that you work in. And number 3, you have a good network outside of the industry, completely different industry. And so hopefully over the years, as you've worked with different people that have left the industry, that have left the company, but have gone within the industry to a competitor, etc., now is the time to make those phone calls. And that's why your network is so important, because when times like these happen, when you are at rock bottom, or so it feels like rock bottom, that's when you call for help. That's when you start spreading you start spreading, the news that you've been laid off, and the people who support you and who are sponsors of yours are going to start making phone calls and asking their friends and friends and friends about if anybody's looking to hire you. And so that's why networking is so important. And if you don't have a good network, I hope after you find your job, because you will, you start focusing a little bit on the power of networking, how important it is. And if you haven't started networking, well, now's the time. You've got time. Go to all the trade shows in Houston or wherever you're located. Go to those SPE talks. Go to those webinars online. Reach out to people on LinkedIn, cold emails, you name it. Now is the time to start making some friends. Number 3 is don't underestimate the value that you bring to the table to the new company that you're going to be working for. And then also when you're in the middle of your job search, don't underestimate your potential and don't underestimate the kind of jobs that you can do. Just because you weren't doing that last, or because the company where you were didn't think you were good enough to be XYZ, doesn't mean that you're not worthy of XYZ. I've seen so many people who have even been let go or laid off or have personally just left the company because they weren't getting the positions that they wanted, but the company just felt like they weren't qualified for it. And then they go across the street, go to a very similar company, and they get the roles and they do extremely well. And so sometimes it's just all about environment and what people think your potential is. And so if your potential wasn't appreciated or valued where you were, it doesn't mean that you don't have a potential. And so go and find that company that will see that potential in you and give you those opportunities that this last company didn't seem to think you were worthy of. Also, don't underestimate the skill set that you've built in working in oil and gas. If you're going to leave the industry, you have such a valuable skill set of just having been in the oil and gas industry, because it's quite complex. We deal with a ton of stress, safety. You name it. Anything you do outside of this, honestly, I feel like it's going to be easy peasy for you. Number 4 is try to keep a schedule and a routine once you get laid off while you look for a job. There's nothing worse than when you get into the poor me attitude and end of the world attitude, where you just become a couch potato and you're depressed and you're sad and it's all a me, poor me. Remember, it's all about how you react to the different things that happen to you in life. And so look at this as a lesson, as a way of life, just telling you that this wasn't meant for you and that you have way better things coming ahead of you. So try to always spin that positive mindset. And I think that will bring you good spirits, that will bring you good fortune. And that's how you're going to be able to do really well in interviews, how you're going to be able to meet the right people. It's all about your mindset. And so do not stay away from a routine, because it's hard to go from routine, the drive to the office, the dressing up, makeup, the suit, the meetings, to all of a sudden clear calendar, nothing on your calendar. And so I personally did that. I remember when I got laid off, I still woke up early. I worked out. I went to a coffee shop. I worked, in my laptop. I still dressed up. You still have to continue that lifestyle, because it's so easy to just want to stay in bed and become a couch potato, because I'm sure many days I wanted to do that. But you have to stay out of the rut, or else it's going to be so hard to pull yourself out of that hole once you start letting your emotions and your brain do the wrong thing, when you start letting negativity come in. So make sure you have a consistent routine, that you're reading, that you're sharpening your skill sets, that you're finally going to have time to read the books you wanted to read, that you finally have time for yourself to work out, to walk, etc. So see this again as like a little opportunity to kind of get back to yourself and to refill your cup so that you can become the person that you want to be, because we were all in a rat race, year after year after year, day after day after day. The days are just flying by. You don't even realize, like, was I in the right career? Was I in the right path? Was I even doing what I loved? And so again, this is a moment of reflection and kind of like a fork in the road, where you can actually, on the other side, it's just going to be so much better. And so, but again, it's all about how you frame it in your mind and how you go about the future. Then the last thing that I would say is work on your personal brand. Again, kind of like networking. It's something I've been talking about for years, is your personal brand is so important. And I know people sometimes even look at what I'm doing on like LinkedIn or social media, and they're like, oh, like, why is this girl doing this? This is so dumb, blah, 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 whatever. Like, whatever people have to say about it. But I find having a strong personal brand has helped me in so many ways. So many ways. I mean, I'm so happy that I have a brand. I'm so happy that people know me. They know my work. They know my worth. They know what I bring to the table. They know what I'm passionate about, what my skill sets are, because I'm constantly marketing myself every single day. And so I feel like after I got laid off, I really doubled down on that personal brand, because I never wanted for a company to have that much power over me like they did that day when I got laid off. Because for me, it was the end of the world, but I learned so much at such a young age that, your worth isn't dependent on the company that you work for, and to stop putting my identity into it. And so again, like I always say, but I'm so happy that I got laid off in 2016. I think it was like 4 years into me working there, or 3. And I'm glad it happened when I didn't have kids, when I had no financial burden. I mean, life was okay. I could still live for multiple years with just the savings that I had, etc. And so I know it's very different for people depending on which part in your career you are. If you're already older, if you're like mid-career, you have young kids, or if you're young and you're just starting off and you're like, this is what I'm faced with. No matter where you are in this part of your career, it's going to be okay. You're going to find another job. Things are going to work out for you. And again, it's not personal, it's business. I always try to tell that to people. It's not because sometimes they don't like you, because you're not performing well, etc. A lot of times I've seen it where they've had to lay off really good people because just the numbers just didn't make sense. Like COVID, we lost, like I saw so many great, talented people leave because of it. But another thing that I've noticed since my layoff in 2016 is a lot of times they call you back. Always. Once the boom gets back up and activity picks up, guess what? They're going to call you back because they know you know the company, you have experience working in the company, and you were doing a good job until they laid you off. And so that's, I guess, part of my advice that I didn't write down, but make sure you leave with a positive note. Make sure you don't burn any bridges. And I know it could be hard because when they're walking you out or you're getting laid off, you want to just tell your boss off, you want to tell HR off, etc. I would really say, like, do not burn any bridges. You never know if they'll call you back, and you could just go back and work there. And I've seen it so many times where people got laid off and then a year later they have a super good job in the company because they were gone for a little bit, and then the opportunity came back in and then they got rehired. And again, that goes kind of part back to your internal network. It's so important that you keep those friends and those relationships that you've built over the years, people you've worked for, people that have worked for you, who may now be able to help you in the future. And so keep those internal ties close. Number 2, don't leave on a bad note. Number 3, do not bash the company that laid you off. I saw it in 2016 where multiple people did, even one, I'm not going to name you, a good friend of mine, sued the company because he was upset at his package. And when he wanted to get back to work after a few years, after we all got rehired, they couldn't hire him. He was literally like blacklisted. And so that would have just been a great opportunity. He got a great payout. And guess what? Now he's going back to work, but he couldn't anymore because he burnt that bridge. And so don't burn the bridges. Stay positive. Everything will work out. This is part of the nature of the oil and gas industry. It's very cyclical, but also across many industries, there's always downsizing. There's always something happening in the market. And so just be prepared by making sure that you have other things going for you, okay? Like side hustles, like your personal brand, hobbies, etc., saving, financial freedom, etc. So yeah, again, I know how you feel. I've been there. I wish I could just take it away and make you feel better. And I know it's not going to happen because these are just words, but trust me, it would all work out. And I'm a firm believer in life that everything happens for a reason. And I'm so happy, and I'll say it over and over again, I'm so happy I got laid off in 2016 because I would not be who I am today in terms of my confidence, in terms of the personal brand that I've built, all the side hustles that I have, everything that I detach myself from an early on identity is literally freedom. Like it's life-changing. And so I know it's hard. Try to look at it in a positive way, and it's gonna be great. Again, like I said it on my LinkedIn post, reach out to Flipping the Barrel. I'm wearing my t-shirt, my sweater, FTB. I'll put it in the show notes below. www.flippingthebarrel.com is our website. flippingthebarrel@gmail.com is our email. And if you're looking for jobs in the US and Canada, I would send it to ftb@omni4solutions.com. And I think I have that right. If not, check in the notes below. My email will also be on there. It's maciel.sky@gmail.com. I would love to answer your questions. I hope to help you. I know I'm going to get a million people sending me messages because I already have on LinkedIn. It's really hard for me to help you find a job if you're not in the US and in Canada. If you're in the US and Canada and you work in the oil and gas, I most likely will be able to help you. I feel like I know everybody in the industry, and there's always people hiring. Trust me, people always come to me for recommendations on people. And so send me your resume your way. I'll ask my network, and hopefully I can help you find a job. But I hope, like I said, once you move on from this little hurdle, this fork in your journey, don't ever forget it, and don't ever let a company take over your identity. And also make sure you're always prepared for a layoff in terms of financials. Make sure you have a year's worth to live without a single penny coming in. And so that's another passion of mine. I'll make another video on financial freedom. But I hope this helped a little bit, and wish you the best in your next journey. Bye, everybody. And if you haven't done so yet, like, subscribe to this channel. I have a new YouTube editor who's amazing, and I'm going to be popping out videos every single week. See you guys later.